6th of February 2017, Queen Elizabeth II celebrated 65 years since her accession to the throne in 1952, becoming the first ever king or queen in British history to celebrate a Sapphire Jubilee. Naturally, the Royal Mint was there at every important milestone to create a tangible record of history, with commemorative coins and keepsakes. In this video, I'll be taking a look back at the Queen's Coronation and Jubilee coins, as well as how the Queen's depiction on circulating currency has changed over those 65 years. The story begins, oddly enough, not with the Queen's accession in 1952, but rather 5 years earlier in 1947. The royal family was on tour in southern Africa and young Princess Elizabeth had just turned 21. While in Cape Town, she delivered her birthday address to millions listening on radios across the world.
We must give nothing less than the whole of ourselves. There is a motto which has been borne by many of my ancestors, a noble motto, I serve. Those words were an inspiration to many bygone heirs to the throne when they made their knightly dedication as they came to manhood. I cannot quite do as they did, but through the inventions of science, I can do what was not possible for any of them. I can make my solemn act of dedication with the whole empire listening. I should like to make that dedication now. It is very simple. I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
This solemn vow would act not only as a guiding principle for her when she became Britain's first queen in over half a century, but would serve as inspiration for coin designers for decades yet to come. After her accession in 1952, the Queen allowed for a respectful amount of time to pass so as to allow the nation and herself to mourn the passing of her father, King George VI. She was crowned during an unforgettable coronation ceremony in 1953. The Royal Mint issued a special coronation coin that year, depicting the Queen on horseback while performing her duties as Colonel-in-Chief of the Royal Grenadier Guards during the annual Trooping of the Colour ceremony. The obverse of the coin depicts the national regalia and flowers of the United Kingdom, encircling the royal Tudor crown. This echoes Her Majesty's insistence that the national flowers of the nations of the Commonwealth be embroidered on her coronation gown. The English Tudor rose, the Scottish thistle, Welsh leek, Irish shamrock, Canadian maple leaf, Australian wattle, New Zealand silver fern, South African protea, lotus flowers for India and Ceylon, and Pakistan's wheat, cotton and jute were all expertly embroidered. The first portrait of Her Majesty to appear on circulating currency would also be issued that year, both in Great Britain and around the nations of the Commonwealth. Designed by Mary Gillick, the effigy is remarkably similar to that of Queen Elizabeth's great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria's young head portrait. It features a profile image of the Queen crowned by a wreath. This is sometimes also referred to as the Laureate bust. This would not be the only time that parallels were to be drawn between these two queens. In 1977, Britain celebrated Queen Elizabeth II's Silver Jubilee. In her 25 years on the throne, a lot has changed. From a numismatic perspective, the most notable would surely have to be decimalization. And with new coins come a new portrait. The Queen's second portrait was designed by Arnold Machen and depicts the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This portrait, first introduced in Great Britain in 1968, is also referred to as the Elizabeth Young bust. The Silver Jubilee crown again depicts the equestrian portrait of Her Majesty as she inspects the guard at the Trooping of the Colour. The reverse displays the oldest and most sacred of the coronation regalia, the ampulla and coronation spoon, both being crowned by the St. Edward's crown. A fine floral border, somewhat reminiscent of the Queen's coronation gown, completes this design. Then, in 1993, the Royal Mint issued a commemorative crown to mark the 40th anniversary of the Queen's coronation. Remembering the equestrian tradition of Jubilee crowns, the obverse depicts the first laureate bust encircled by 8 mounted trumpeters. The reverse depicts the St. Edward's crown, which has been used to crown British monarchs since William the Conqueror in the year 1066. The crown itself is surrounded by 40 trumpets, one for each year of Elizabeth's reign. The third portrait, or so-called crowned head, also has been in circulation since 1985. Designed by artist Raphael Makhlouf, this is the first effigy to depict the Queen wearing jewelry. She's crowned by the George IV state diadem and is wearing the coronation necklace and earrings. 2002 marked 50 years since Queen Elizabeth's accession, and for the first time since 1977 an official Jubilee was celebrated. By the time the Golden Jubilee came around, the 4th official portrait was also now in circulation. This portrait was a somewhat stark departure from the previous incarnations. It realistically depicts the Queen as a 70-something monarch. The designer, Ian Rank Broadley, himself explained his choice of realism over idealism. He said that he felt no need to disguise the matureness of the Queen's years. There's no need to flatter her. She is a 70-year-old woman with poise and bearing. The Golden Jubilee crown again maintains the equestrian tradition, with a young Elizabeth appearing on horseback on the coin's obverse. The portrait bears a striking resemblance to the Queen Victoria monument in Glasgow. The coin's reverse depicts a contemporary cameo portrait of Queen Elizabeth II as head of state. She is wearing the coronation jewels and the George IV state diadem, along with the robe of state and the collar of the most noble order of the Garter. In 2012, Queen Elizabeth became the second only British monarch to have reigned for more than 60 years. The first to do so was her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria. So, for the Diamond Jubilee crown, Ian Rank Broadley chose to echo the Queen Victoria Diamond Jubilee medallion. Being almost an exact reproduction of that piece, the coin is steeped in numismatic history. The Victoria Old Head is transformed into a portrait of Queen Elizabeth, the original of which was created for a plaque displayed at the buildings of the Supreme Court. The Queen is wearing her garter robes and the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This is known to be the Queen's favourite tiara, as it was gifted to her by her grandmother Queen Mary on her wedding day in 1947. Supposedly, she still refers to it to this day as Granny's tiara. The Victoria Young head is replaced with a rendition of Mary Gillick's laureate bust on the reverse. The Latin phrase to the right of the coin first appeared on the remarkable 1839 Una and the Lion £5 coin, which was minted to commemorate the beginning of Queen Victoria's reign. It translates as "May God guide my steps," and were supposedly the first words spoken by Queen Victoria after her crowning at only age 18. 2013 was the 60th year since the Queen's coronation ceremony in 1953, so naturally the Royal Mint issued a special commemorative coin to mark the occasion. The 2013 60th anniversary coronation crown was not only a commemoration, but a celebration in recognition of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. Featuring the state imperial crown, the coin's legend reads, "To reign and serve, a vow made good," remembering Queen Elizabeth's 21st birthday address and recognizing that Her Majesty had remained true to her word. 4 years later, the Queen would make history once again, becoming the first British monarch to celebrate a Sapphire Jubilee, surpassing the record set by her great-great-grandmother Queen Victoria nearly a century prior. To celebrate the 65th year of her reign, the Royal Mint issued not one, but 2 commemorative coin designs. The first was designed by the Bishop Gregory Cameron, best known for designing the last round pound coin. It features a modern representation of the royal coat of arms flanked by an olive and oak branch. The 4th portrait has also now been replaced by the 5th official effigy, sculpted by Royal Mint engraver Jody Clark. Here the Queen again wears the George IV state diadem, complemented this time by the Victoria pearl drop earrings. This couped portrait is shared across all Sapphire Jubilee coins as well as contemporary circulating currency. The second commemorative design again features the imperial state crown, but this time showcasing the Stuart sapphire on the crown's back. The inscription reads, "My whole life, whether it be long or short, devoted to your service." The coin acknowledges Queen Elizabeth's unfailing dedication to the nation and that resolute vow made when she had just turned 21. Now, having survived to her 9th decade and reigned for almost 70 of those years, she has officially been featured on more coins than any other person in history, a numismatic legacy spanning more than 6 decades and counting over 5 official portraits and many more if you include those used across the nations of the Commonwealth, resulting in countless coin designs from a myriad of nations. This has been the World Numismatic News special presentation taking a look back at how the Royal Mint captured Queen Elizabeth II's reign across her Coronation and Jubilee coins. Which of the official portraits do you like best? Do you have a favorite Jubilee coin? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.